Happy Monday. Happy Monday. I thought I was going to sleep through this Monday because, maybe it's just better to sleep it off. Sleep it off. But anyway, here I am, your ladybug of the century. So we have this amazing little drone here, and it is amazing. It flies super well. I've shown you guys how easy this thing is to control. It flies well. We flew it yesterday with a little bit of breeze too, and we were able to fly into and through a little balloon with a hole in it. So basically it was a 0 or an O, no problem. I was able to do it indoors. I was able to do it outdoors. It comes with an amazing battery. I love the camera on it. Very nice, stable footage that you get out of it. So everything is great except for one thing. And guess what that is? This thing right here. So I've done a little teardown, which I plan to put on the channel so you guys can see what this thing looks like on the inside. But here's the deal. Here's the deal. And I will show you in a second because I've got all the things in here. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the goggles right here. These are good goggles. Love them. And I'm going to hope I can show you guys today in this video how they are great in the sense that they are able to connect not just to this quad, but they're able to connect to other quads that I have, other FPV drones, if you will, other micro drones such as this one. Here we go. So I'm going to turn it on and show you what happens. So I'll turn this on. All you need to do to turn this on is you've got this little connector. There's a little hole there. You stick it in the hole and push, and emax logo comes on, and you've got snow because the actual thing is not on. So then you go over here. You have a really good emax batteries. I'm loving these batteries. They're very good. They do not puff up as quickly as some of the other batteries that I've had before. On the bottom here, if you remove the battery, there is a little push button that you can push on with a whatever you have, a little tool. It could be a little stick. It could be anything you want, a little screwdriver. Anyhow, this is now connected. So in the goggles, you should be able to see it's snow right now, but if I press on this button, eventually you wait enough time, it's going to find a signal. Just wait enough time. And it will find, it usually finds something pretty quick. It locked onto an image for a second. There we go. That stopped. So after a little while, it finds the correct signal. And I have changed the bands on this thing because with that little button that I mentioned before, you can change the bands on this thing. So it comes, I think, stock with the Fat Shark band, but now it is on something else. And as you can see in there, it is nice. You get a nice clear image of what it sees. Right now it's seeing the inside of the car, but I could aim it at something else. And now it's aiming at some of the other kits that I brought in the car, but you could look outside and see what's out there. Anyway, right now we're going to put it over here so it stares at an ugly mug. And now you can see an ugly mug in there, which is not the best, but it gives you the idea of what's going on. But look at this. What happens the second that I switch on the remote? There's the remote. I press the remote button. There you go. And now look at the flickering that happens. The only reason it is happening is because I turned on the remote. As you can see here, there's a green light in there. And I will show you this again. The second I turn off the thing, the flickering goes away. Watch this. Flickering gone. So I press the button, turn it on. The flickering comes back. I turn it off. No more flickering. Now, you might say, well, who cares for flickering? You can still fly with the flickering. Okay, I was willing to fly with the flickering. But then you do this. You do this and you arm your quad. And I'm going to show you what happens next. The second I give power to the quad here. Look at that. Snow. Now I've done this on all the different channels. I tried all the different channels, so it's not like it's doing it on one channel. Just change the channel. I've done that. Doesn't work. Watch this. Armed. There you go. Beautiful. Beautiful or not beautiful. Now one thing that you can do is, and this doesn't fix anything, but it allows you to kind of do it, is you arm, you run the motors, and then you press the thing. At some point you get a kind of signal, and if you can lock into that signal, then when the throttle is on, it'll kind of fly, and you can kind of see where you're going. But this obviously is not ideal, right? It kind of locked onto something. And you'll end up draining a lot of your battery just to do this thing. But at some point, I did try this yesterday, and it locked onto a signal. You see, you got this? This is how you're going to have to fly. And the second I put the throttle down, you lose vision. So you can either have vision with the throttle off, or you can have vision with the throttle on. And when you have the throttle on vision, it looks something like this. And do you think that's very nice to be able to have to fly that way? I mean, are you serious now, Emax? Anyway, so again, this is probably only happening to me because I'm just a really unlucky human being. These goggles, I'm going to show you in a second, should be able to connect up to pretty much any other quads. And I'm going to grab a couple of quads so that I can demonstrate this. But you might be thinking, well, maybe it's just because, you know, you used the wrong battery or something. Okay, fine. We can show you. I'm going to grab all the other stuff in a second. So before I do that, I'm going to unplug this because I don't want these to die out because they've got no battery in them. It's going to take a lot of wigglage. A lot of wigglage. That is not a word, but we'll pretend that it is. Now, the other issue is no matter what goggles I use, and I've got a bunch of different goggles, this happens no matter what goggles I use. So that takes the factor of the Emax goggles being faulty. The Emax goggles are not faulty, and I can prove that to you very quickly. I grab this. I have another spare pair of goggles here, as well as a bunch of other batteries. So what we can do is, first off, we can change out the battery and say, okay, well, maybe it's just the Emax batteries that we're having problems. We've got these batteries here, also pretty cool. Let's get these up and running. Let's see how they do. Let's see how they doodly do the do that they do. Anyway, so we're going to remove this. And in there, if you guys can see or not see, there is a bind button in there. And that is what I use. You basically click it once, and then you click it, you hold it pressed, and then it brings you to a menu, and then in the menu you can change a bunch of settings and try all kinds of different things. You can also unlock it if you know what you're doing to get more bands than it originally comes with out of the box. I've done all of that. I've done all of that because I was just, you know, testing to see what can be done. This is on, you see it's a new battery. Different battery, it's this different brand. Let's see if that does anything else. So I have to find this again. Oh, this again, my old friend. There. It is back on. We'll turn on the other one as well in a second. Okay. This one is not connected. We can do a search while we can run a search while that is doing whatever. See if it picks up the signal in there. This one currently does not have anything going on in there because the Wizard of Oz is not ready for it. But no, I'm just kidding. We turn on the remote. There we go. We initialize the motors and take this out of the way so you guys can actually see something in there, maybe. Okay. And now when we apply power, it lost the signal. Great. So earlier you guys saw it was running and it was picking up the signal, and now it stopped picking up the signal for some reason. But anyway, there you go. I pressed the button a couple of times. It finds the image. The goggles are not bad or anything. It is all because of this remote here. And no matter what I do, and again, I would not want to keep ranting about this thing, but the thing is, it's unfixable, and that is the problem. If it were fixable, then we wouldn't be having a problem. Or if I could use another set of goggles like these to do the same thing, then that would be fine. Here's another pair of goggles. I will turn off the remote so they can pick up something. Right now, they have picked up a signal, maybe? No, they're not. They have not picked up a signal. Why aren't you picking up a signal? You should be on. You are on. That's weird. Last time I did this, it picked up a signal. It kind of sees it. Come on. Maybe I should put the other emax battery back in there. It could just be a case of the batteries being a little bit flat on this one. When you run a demo in real life, this is what happens. This is why people don't do live demos. They use the editing stuff. They constantly do the editing stuff because they don't want things to look like this. Wrong button of death. Let's try that one again. Again, it was working a second ago. I changed out the battery, so this should work again. Find me a hero. Any hero at all. Right now we're on both. But something could be found at some point. Now, while that goes on, and on and on and on, I have no idea what's going on now. Something must be running interference. We don't usually get problems like this before. There's plenty of battery in this one, not so much on the other one, so we're just waiting for this to pick up the signal again. I do have a third battery, just in case those two batteries were not doing their job. We'll have a third battery. This is why you bring spares of spares of spares, just in case something doesn't work, right? You take the spare of the spare of the spare of the spear, and maybe one of them will work. Here. Also emax, so I'll put the other emax away. Let's just break everything while we do that, because that always improves everything. It is just not picking up the signal. What about this one? This one kind of has it now. It is not great, but it kind of has it right now. Wow. So what happens? Let's see again. This is on. Press the button. Switch the switch. You see the snow is still there. That horrible snow of death is still there. The images are horrible. And you might say, well, wait a second. Maybe you have all the wrong antennas. Well, this is the one that came with the goggles. This is the one that I created. And this one actually works really well because it's not just any antenna. It has these two extra bits, and it can. So I've also tried it with this antenna that I created myself, which has also an extension. on it, and it does really well on many other quads. So that was another thing that I invented that seems to work pretty well, but unfortunately, sadly enough, it just does not want to work all too well right now during the demonstration. This thing still doesn't pick up anything over here. So I really don't know what's going on, guys. I really don't know what's going on, guys. I've tried all kinds of different things. This is the original antenna that comes with this kit, so, you know, it's not like it should work better, if anything, with the new antennas that I've installed on here. They do pretty well for my other quads. This is not picking up the signal at all for some reason. It used to be able to. I've done another live stream where this was working no problem. And so that is rather odd. But now it's also because I changed the channel. So maybe this kind of thing no longer picks up the other signals that are in the thing. As I said before, I did change the channels to try to stop it from interfering with the remote. But no matter which channel I put it on, it just seems to refuse to connect up to this thing. So the other thing that I can do while this is still attempting to search is to grab a different quad, and I do have one here. We've got the iron quad. Here it is, iron quad. Love this thing. I do have a battery for this thing too, and what we'll do is we will try to bind the emax goggles to this here quad. I also have another pair of spare goggles. Here's another pair of spare goggles that we can turn on. Oh, look! Oh, look, in these goggles, it picked it up right away. In these goggles, it picked it up right away. The other goggles are just not playing ball. See, 2 sets of goggles. These are the iron quad goggles on the left here. And on the right, we have the other ones that just will not pick up the signal. I will turn them off and then turn them back on. They're off. Turn them back on. Turn them back on. They're not turning back on. Maybe the battery's just too flat. Run another search. Jeez Louise, jeez Louise. Anyway, let's show you guys. This is the goggles. When I turn on the remote, there you go. You see that flickering of death again? I'm going to arm. So I'm going to arm the quad and snow. There you go. So no matter what I do, no matter which goggles I use, thank goodness I had a goggle spare for the spare. You notice that right away. That, and this one will not connect to any of the channel. Oh, I had it kind of. Come on, give me something. Anything at all? Oh, look. Look at this. Now it's working. I found the channel. Again, watch this. Watch this. I turn it off. Ooh, clear image in this pair of goggles now. The one that would not connect. And now, click. Look at that thing. It's now vibrating the whole thingy-majig in there on the screen. I turn on the goggles and snow. Do you think it's flyable like that? I mean, I tried. I just could not. So, plus, it's probably not good for your eyes to fly that way. So, yeah. There you go. There you go. So, this really points to everything being a problem with the remote control, having interference with stuff. And we don't like that. At least I don't like that. you know, this is a relatively inexpensive thing that we're flying today, but at the same time, it's like, really though? Does it need to be this bad? Now, watch this. This is my iron quad right here. And right now I turned off the emax, and we're going to try to see if this thing picks up my iron quad. And it probably should, because I think I did a test earlier where it should allow me to do that. So once it picks it up in here, I can demonstrate that the goggles are fine, and they're beautiful because all the other things were running on it. So give that a couple of seconds to see if it can find the signal in here. And the other day I tried it also with the Atom RC. I can't reach those. Ugh. I also use these ones, the Atom RC goggles. They are amazing in their own special little way. So I tried them with this. Also did not work. Let me see. Oh, there we go. There we go. Look at that. That is the image that you're getting from, and you can see because I'm aiming it at myself now. I'm aiming it at myself. So this here image is what you get out of the Iron Quad. So the Emax goggles are fantastic. They work, and I have flown things with the Emax goggles, so you can't fault the Emax goggles. They're great. So the problem is I have a great bunch of bits, but they just don't work together. So this is great on its own, flies really well. Love how the remote control flies this thing, blah, blah, blah. The goggles on their own pick up signals so I can fly other quads with them. The only issue is I can't fly this here drone with any goggles at all. And that's just a pity, right? Because it's, you know, it's, and this is one of the issues that I've had with Emax over and over again and again. I know it's me. But there's always one thing that doesn't quite work. The other time, as I said before, I did buy one of these sets, and it was amazing, and I loved it until I lost it. Because why? The other set of goggles that Emax made for the Tiny Hawk Ready to Fly kit, I think it was. Anyway, those were not very good back in the day. And also, they had another problem. The other quad, the other Emax quad, came with a camera that tilted. And so all the ones that I've tried from Emax with the camera that tilts, that you can manually move, they had a faulty system where you had the screw that's supposed to keep the camera. But every time it slammed into an object, that camera moved. And then as a beginner, that's horrible because you don't know what you're doing. And then eventually what happens is something breaks loose or something wigs out. And the range on that thing was not good, so it probably went up into the sky, and I never saw it again. Never saw it again. So I thought maybe they did better with this one, and they did, except for this. So now they're giving you a remote that creates interference with the goggles, and so I'm really not sure what to do with all that. That's like, I don't know. The icing on the turd, because it's definitely not a cake. The icing on the turd, because it's not a cake. Anyway, so there we have it, guys. I have shown you the issue that I'm having with mine. I'm sure you're not having this issue, and you're glad that I am the ladybug that attracts all the bad issues, because this could have been something that landed in your hands, but it landed in my hands. And after try after try after try, we still can't get it to work. So there it is, guys. So I've shown you in a previous live that it doesn't work with this pair of goggles. I'm not going to waste battery on it now to show you something that I've already done. But we've shown you that these are the Iron Quad goggles that came with the kit. These are the other goggles that I used from, sorry, I got this wrong. I'm lying to you by accident. So these are the ones that come with the Iron Quad. You see that says Beta FPV on them. These were another pair of goggles that I got that are also very good. DMKR. also have the same snow problem. As again, I said, the Atom RC having the same problem. All of my goggles are having the same problems. So goggles are not the issue here. The issue is, and you've seen it over and over again, the second I turn this thing on, you see the screen will flicker, and it is the death of the death of the death. So anyway, what can I say about this Emax after endless hours of wasted trying to get the signal to run? I can tell you that it flies really well. I love all the bits separately. I just cannot get them to work together. So again, as usual, I'm going to have to tell you that if you want something that is just straightforward, that runs out of the box, get yourself one of these Iron Quads or Cetus. Those kits from Beta FPV are very well tested out of the factory. You get them into your hands, and so far, all the ones that I've tried run. No questions asked. It's just, if it says RTF and it is a Beta FPV product, it's going to work out of the box. With Emax, this is the second one that I bought. I was like, maybe this second one will be better. Hey, just my luck, it was not. So I wish I could say good things about this all around, but I can't. I can only pinpoint separate bits. So the quad is great. It flies great. The battery's great. It flies the quad great. Everything in there, like the binding, the changing the channel procedures, all that stuff works great. The remote on its own is fantastic. It binds to the thing. It flies the thing. You have different modes. All that worked. And the goggles are fantastic. I love how you can just take out the battery in this thing here. And sometimes it's just easier to disconnect this from the whole thing and to charge it. Very well done. Unfortunately, I hope that Emax can reach out to me. I tried to leave a couple of comments on the YouTube channel. Did not get any feedback back. I got more feedback from Captain Drone, as usual. He comes and saves the day most of the time. And but the thing here is that this is probably defective in some way. And I will do a teardown at home again, show you how to take this apart so you can see all the different bits inside. But that's not happening right now. So for now, I'm going to end this live. And in a minute, I'm going to start up another live where I will talk about books and 3D printing and stuff, and possibly the elephant in the room. And later on, I'm going to go back home for possibly some real flight. But that is all I can tell you guys for now. And that is the situation that we are in. So there we go. If you guys, again, this is where the YouTube algorithm could be fantastic if programmed correctly with a decent system. If you guys have a solution to this crazy problem that I have, and you know how to, I don't know, maybe there's a way to rebind. There's a way maybe to unbind, disconnect this from the quad, and then rebind it once more. If there's a way to do that and you guys know, drop it in the comments, email me. All that stuff is available online for you to reach me. You can find me on all the social media platforms, including Twitter now, because we're watching it burn, right? We're watching it burn with a fake account since I can't get back into my original account, which I got kicked off of for literally forgetting my password. And then now there's a new guy in town that has Twitter, and I still can't get in. So different manager and same results. So anyway, so don't tweet me, because maybe that doesn't work so well. But on all the other platforms, you can find me, reach out to me if you have a solution for this problem. And that would be very helpful, because I'd like to bring this back to life fully and not just partially. So thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to leave you with this little image of this here drone, and I will see you all in the next live, which is happening in a couple of minutes. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you there.